E, E, C, me.
Sorry, I just had to look at something. Hi, this land has mystery. Today, I'm going on a very exciting journey. I've been in Norway for a month and a half. I started in Stavanger, had a house sit for that little white doggy you saw at the beginning of the video. From there, I took a Danish ferry up to Bergen, spent a couple days there, then took a train to Oslo, spent a couple days there, flew to Copenhagen, or took a train to Copenhagen, rather. And then last night, I flew from Copenhagen to Trondheim, where I am now. This is something I've wanted to do for a very long time. Since my last name is a Norwegian last name and it's followed me around my whole life and it will continue to follow me around my whole life, I've always been curious as to its origins. And so I'm headed there to find out where, like literally where my last name comes from and why I have this last name. So what is my last name? Efferfling Haugendal. That's why I just go by Mr. E, because it's simpler. I'm just kidding. My last name is Eide. E-I-D-E. That's it. I'd say about half of people in Minnesota pronounce my last name the correct way on the first try, which is about like 5 to 10% the rest of the country, and about 1% for telemarketers. Remember telemarketers?
USA Prime Credit. My name is Peggy.
Peggy? Okay.
I'm looking for Mr. or Mrs. Eid, or Edie was another big one. I once had a crazy Chinese landlady in New York City who called me Eddie. So EID in Norwegian without the E at the end means isthmus.
An isthmus is a narrow strip of land that connects two larger land masses and separates two bodies of water.
Given Norway's topography, you can imagine there are a lot of isthmuses here. So there's Eidfjord, Eidsvoll, Eidsvåg, Eidsvåg. When I rented this car, I handed over my driver's license, or like if I've had to hand over my passport checking into a hotel or something, people look at my name and say, okay, Mr. Ida. And normally, I would correct them and say, no, it's Eide. But in Norway, it is actually pronounced Ida. I don't know why we pronounce it Eide in my family, rhymes with Heidi. If I ever have twin dogs, girl dogs, I'm going to name them Heidi, Eide, and Aphrodite. So before I get on with it and drive the 2 hours to this little place, here is a Mr. E pie chart of my actual ancestry. All right, white people love tracing their ancestry. So here we go. We're going to call it Building a Mystery, and draw a little line down the middle because we got half from mommy and half from daddy. So mommy's side is very simple. It's just Finnish. Hang on a sec. Hey guys, would you mind just putting like a traditional border around the Finnish flag just so it doesn't blend in with the background as much? Okay. There is a little Swedish peppered in. Ancestor here or there is Swedish, but this is decidedly the Finnish side. Daddy's side is a little more complicated. We got the Norwegian part. That's where E comes from. That's why I'm making this video. There is as much Swedish on this side as Norwegian. And just when you're thinking, wow, Mr. E, you are astonishingly white. Are raspberry popsicles too spicy for you?
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
We need to explore exotic E.
That's hot.
So on this side of the family, according to some DNA tests that several family members have taken, it is likely Syrian, which is great news because it means I'm related to Steve Jobs and I get free Apple crap for life. The same DNA tests also suggest maybe a little Lebanese and Turkish. My grandmother on my father's side was adopted by Greek immigrants, and so we don't know a whole lot about her ancestry. And just for kicks, I went over to Stable Diffusion and wanted to see what AI would come up with, and this is what they had for me.
Oh, that's hot.
That's hot.
That's hot.
This is Mr. E.
I'm 100% that bitch.
You're building a mystery.
That's hot.
Om mannen ropte til kjerringa si, hvorfor skal det stikke slik i helgebuksa mi? Ut i endan der, ut i endan der. Hvorfor skal det stikke slik i endan der? Jo, derfor at du så lat, din kai, som sitter og gnukker ifra morgen til kvei. Opp på endan der, opp på endan der. Sitter og gnukker opp på endan der. Og mannen han tok sine bukser og gikk. Og si kan du tenke deg at kjerringa fikk opp på endan der, opp på endan der. At kjerringa fikk opp på endan der.
I'm probably related to all these people. It's kind of weird. So, I'll try to make this quick, but in the late 1700s, my great to the sixth grandfather, his name was Elias Johansson, and he bought a farm around here called Bakken. Like the area was called Bakken. Bakken is a very common Norwegian name, means hill. And in those days, when you bought a farm, you named yourself after the farm. So he became Elias Johansson Bakken. And then he had a bunch of kids. One of them was Andreas. And then one of Andreas's children took over the farm. And another one of his children moved on to a different place around here called Ida. He replaced the name Bakken with Ida. So he became Edvard Christian Ida, and he just went by Christian. And so the naming conventions in Norway were, at that time, your given name, which was a Christian name given by your parents, your father's name, and then your farm name. If your parents named you Bjorn or Barrett, then your middle name was your father's name plus son or daughter. So if your father's name was Peter, you were Peterson or Peter's daughter, and then your last name was your farm. And all the farms around here were based on some geographical feature. So Bakken is hill, EID is isthmus. So that's what the land was named after, and you just took that name as your last name. Christian was going to give the farm over to Andreas, my great-great-great-grandfather, and one day before he was set to take over the farm, he was killed in a storm. And so his son, Albert, was left with nothing. The farm went to Andreas' sister. Albert was left with nothing. 4 months later, he left for the United States. I'm probably related to these people. I'm gonna go ask if I can park here.
Hey.
Hey. You speak English?
No, not
Can I park
you can park there.
for maybe 15, 20 minutes? Okay, perfect. Talk. Thank you. Everybody here speaks English. Everybody. I don't know if this is the farm or not, but maybe. So there's something that's probably named Ide. This is where Andreas, my great-great-great-grandfather, is buried. This is where Albert, my great-great-grandfather, the one who emigrated, was confirmed when he was a child. Well, that's disappointing. Oh, it's really cold out there. The air temperature is not that cold. It's like 5-6 degrees Celsius, but very windy. I didn't find the headstone for any of my relatives. Every other headstone there is named Ida. A lot of Balkans too. Walking through a graveyard in Norway is like paging through my high school yearbook, just because all the names are Norwegian.
Minnesota, 3 million people and 5 last names.
There were a few headstones that were really old and it was hard to read, so maybe it was one of those, but I looked closely. Oh well.
I think I'm so educated and I'm so civilized, cause I'm a strict vegetarian. But with the overpopulation and inflation and starvation and the crazy politicians, I don't feel safe in this world no more. I don't wanna die in a nuclear war. I wanna sail away to a distant shore and make like an ape man. I'm an ape man, I'm an ape man, no I'm an ape man. I'm a King Kong man, I'm a voodoo man, no I'm an ape man. Cause compared to the sun that sits in the sky, compared to the clouds that say roll by, compared to the bugs and the spiders and flies, I am an ape man.
I'm Irish, but I have blonde hair. Supposedly the only reason the Irish have blonde or red hair is because the Vikings invaded, pillaged, and probably other stuff. Those Vikings, the Scandinavians, I don't know if you've been to Sweden, it's like a whole country of Scarlett Johanssons. Oh no, some Viking lady's coming to pillage me. I guess I'll hide on this bed covered in rose petals.